Hey, I'm Broxy, and today we're out at the Pirini motorcycle park. We're testing the 2013 RM-Zs, along with Cody Cooper, he's here, and Reese Carter. Andrew Hardesty popped in from Motor City as well for a few tech tips. Show us a way around these new bikes. Looking at the specs on the new bike, and you see that the 250 especially, they've gone with some a bit more rigid on the frame with some steel mounts there, and all these things to try and sort of go with their new fork that they're running. Just like the Kawasaki, they've decided to run with the PFF fork with the spring on one side, so you can adjust the preload, which is a really good thing, by the way. And then you can also, on the left, you've got the compression and the rebound. It's supposed to shave a little bit of weight. Just the beauty of it is how adjustable it is. I found that because of that, they ended up changing the shock as well, which is also, both the fork and the shock have gone up like about 1 millimeter on the diameter, and just add a bit more oil, a little bit more room there for things to play with. And they've been able to get the setup so that now you can have it a little bit higher on the front, no problem at all, which is something that you can will definitely help the standard bike straight out of the crate. And then you can also, yeah, got that adjustability you need on the back. The engine and the gearbox on both bikes, they've gone along similar lines, and they've gone for a lighter piston with the new coating and stuff, and they've also changed how the intake cam works, as well as the outtake cam chain and things like that, just to try and give it that little bit more torque and mid-range, I think. That's what I noticed especially on the 250. So it does rev out really well, and it's a solid engine. I just found that it was definitely the mid-range that it was probably the best, which is a pretty smart move if you think about the general public and what they're going to want. Some of the other changes that they've made is also into the gearbox. They know that they can be a little bit clunky at times in the shifting, so they've ended up going from 4 lugs to 3. And I don't know much about the mechanics of gearboxes, but yeah, they're trying to go for a smoother shifting, and I think they've accomplished that. There was on the 450, I found that I was missing gears a little bit, not really sure where everything was. But on the 250, it's definitely on the right track, and I found that I really like the shifting on the new bikes. So that's going to be a big positive for those Suzuki riders out there. Aesthetically, they've gone for a black rear guard, which is, you know, something a bit different. They've also got a yellow front number plate. Otherwise, it looks pretty much like the old bikes, like the 2012s. The beauty of it is that straight out of the crate, you've got a bike that's more tunable, and it's got that nice power that the general person's going to want. The 450 in the power stakes, once again, it doesn't rev to the moon and just keep pulling like some of the other brands might, but that's a good thing. It's a really usable power. The clutch really seems to work really well with it. I found that when I first went to click it into gear with the clutch in, it kind of wanted to creep forward, but that could just be to do with the oil that's been mixed in there, and I found that on the track, the clutch, I really couldn't fault it. It was just light, and it just worked really smooth. If you combine the nice power with the good clutch and good tunable suspension, you've got a package that's going to be pretty handy straight out of the package. Another way, of course, the Suzukis are competitive is in their price, and that's something that they've kept low again for another year. Also following in the new style of interchangeable couplers, they've got the lean and the normal and the hard pack ones that you can change now. You just clip out the old one and clip in the new, which is just such a real bonus, because if you're in the sand and you can handle a little bit more of a hard edge kind of a power, you can go with the leaner setting. And then if you want to smoothen things out, which is quite common, if you really think about it, people are going to use that, and they can go to the harder setting. But the normal setting is going to be a sort of a mix between the two, and the best of both worlds. So today I didn't try the different couplers. I think if anything, I would have gone back to the normal anyway, because this track has sort of a mix between hard pack and soft stuff. And I wouldn't want to mellow it out too much, especially on the 250. Yeah, I wouldn't want to make it too hard edged either, because I did find that the 450 coming into those corners and even just when you're powering out, it can be enough of a handful anyway. So you want to stick with that normal setting as much as possible, unless the track changes quite a lot. Probably to wrap it up, I guess, I sort of hopped on the bike and straight away you feel comfortable. It settles into the track really well. It's not twitchy, and it doesn't have that initial kind of softness that kind of makes you guess where the wheels are. You know what's going on, and I think that's a pretty good way to wrap it up with the Suzukis. You sort of get what you see, and we've got a really good update with these bikes. They're on the right track. And it's good to see some changes in the right way.